What a wonderful way to start another presentation here in the Issues Room, our 66th edition, coming to you live from the United States of America. We're broadcasting live in social media in the cyberspace. Today is Friday, the 17th of June, 2022. Volcano Shelton here with you. Moses Sandy will be joining me momentarily, but we want to welcome all of you, our viewers, wherever you are, those of you in Africa, particularly Liberia, and in the sub-region of the West African sub-region, those of you in Asia, Europe, Australia, the Americas, and everywhere in the universe, we say welcome to the Issues Room 66 edition. This evening, we're going to be covering a lot of good stuff, but the existential theme for today's production is surrounding the disintegration of the CPP, and as you can see conspicuously, the infighting amongst political opponents to the current government in power, which is the CDC government headed by President Dr. George Weah. Do we think that because the CDC looks disintegrated and the constant wrangling among political oppositions, does this mean that President Weah and the CDC government will be extended to a 12-year rule in Liberia? We'll be discussing that. We'll be bringing trending news. So many things to cover. I believe three subject matter. But we just want to remind you that where we are right now with the Issues Room, we've lost a lot of our viewers, and it's because we just reunited a new page called the TI Room. So for those of you who are listening to me tonight, if you should receive any invitation from TI Room, just remember it's the Issues Room. So we ask that you kind of accept our request to join us as a friend of the platform. This platform started back in September of last year, and we've been gaining a lot of momentum. We've interviewed some very notable politicians, and we've covered a lot of community and national issues. So we ask that you join us because this is the alternative to everything else on Facebook. And we want you to join us because, of course, you will get factual and well-discussed information. We've brought some of the best out there in the business, public figures and journalists, civil servants. All of our discussions come from different backgrounds, and they come with the expertise to discuss the subject matter that we discuss when we hold these specific topics. So again, welcome. Volcano Shelton here with you. Our broadcast is on Tuesday, just in case. It's at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, meaning here on the East Coast, because we have our main studio in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Then we can also be heard on Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is 11 o'clock in Liberia, or those of you who are surviving in the Greenwich time zone. We want you to spread the word, like us on Facebook, like us on YouTube, like our Issues Room page, and let's do this together. Some of the notable people that we also have as in the background is Thomas Awaji. He's been a very helpful brother to the platform. Weah, who's disappeared for a few weeks now. River Says Pro, who is also one of the main people in the background who try to, spread our message. We have a lot of good folks, Steel Sumpon, just those guys who help us keep us going. And so we just want to encourage you to do the same with us. Well, if you recalled, just recently, the Faculty Association of the University of Liberia has called for the resignation or replacement of the university's current president, Dr. Nelson. And reasons here, and it's kind of mind-boggling when you really look at the situation in Liberia. These folks, and that's the Faculty Association, says that they have no confidence okay, in the president, Dr. Julius Nelson. They made a pronouncement yesterday when they cast their vote of no confidence in his leadership at the university. Um, they say that its decision is based on Dr. Nelson's insistence on the removal of faculty members who are doing two full-time jobs from the university payroll. So, this is what it is. Faculties are on the university payroll, but they want to work in other government institutions. So, for instance, if I'm working on the university payroll and I'm teaching accounting, that's government institution, that's government salary. But I also work at the Ministry of Finance, a full-time job. It's another government institution. So I want to be paid full-time salary at the Ministry of Finance. Maybe I'm in the accounts department or I'm accounting there, but I'm also teaching at university and teaching accounting. And then accounting rather, and I want to pay what you call be paid rather a full faculty salary. You can't do that. And Dr. Nelson is saying that this is wrong. And it's wrong. It's absolutely wrong. Now, you can work at the University of Liberia, teach at the University of Liberia, and work for ArcelorMittal. You can work at the University of Liberia, teach at the University of Liberia, and go to Cotton University Graduate School and teach there as well, because Cotton is a private university, except where your stipend is being paid through the government's effort. So I remember when I was in high school, our teachers who taught us in public schools were teaching at the private schools, but they couldn't teach one public school and go to the next public school and teach there and get two full-time salaries from the two public schools. So how can these university professors and faculty members take this for granted and believe that they can do this in this modern time? Why are these people so ignorant to the fact? And so, and I use the word ignorant because I don't think it's ignorant. I should take the word back. But so, dark-hearted. It's wrong. Nobody should tell you that. It's wrong. So for you to call for the president's resignation, the university's president's resignation, all because he wants to do what is right by the university, then you say that, oh, we don't have confidence in your leadership, so you need to go. You tell me, many of you out there listening tonight, tell me, what sense does that make to work for two government institutions and get simultaneous salaries, whether equal proportion or not? How can you do that? So that is what trending right now at the university are calling for the university's president's resignation, declaring a no vote of confidence, because he's asking them to either make a choice. You teach at the University of Liberia, or if you work at the Ministry of Finance, you stay at the Ministry of Finance. But you cannot have two government jobs and be paid salaries simultaneously from the government. That's double dipping in common terms here in the US. I believe Moses Sandy is ready. Moses, you're now live. So
yeah,
I was just discussing the issue with the UL faculty asking for the resignation or replacement of the University of Liberia's president, Dr. Julius Nelson, rather, because of his call to them that they need to make a pick, either work for one government institution or the other, but you cannot work for the university at the same time, work
for the
for
university
a
full
institution.
time. And the emphasis here is working full time. And Volcano, we all know how it goes in most developed countries. Even I will speak to you. I have a second job. I do not work two full time job because it's not doable. There are people who try to do that, but I have a part-time job I do on weekends.
Yeah, but Moses,
So
let me pause you there. Let me
they
pause you there. Moses, let me pause you there quick. Your
yeah,
part-time job is
yeah,
not with the institution you're currently working your full-time job at.
absolutely,
So
absolutely.
even
It's not
even at that,
doable.
you still cannot work for the University of Liberia, a government institution, and
Yeah,
work part-time in any other government institution.
no, because it's the same. It's the same entity that will be paying you twice. That's what they call double dipping. And Volcano, I was very disappointed, and I just couldn't wrap my head around this that people who are claiming to be trainers of future leaders of Liberia will hold a meeting and say, well, we have no confidence in the president of the University of Liberia because he has chosen to stay in defense of Liberia. This is fraud at the highest level against the Republic of Liberia by professors of the University of Liberia. And they're talking about, oh, well, there will be no classes on the campus of the university. The president of the University of Liberia, let me join you and let me join you, Volcano, in telling these people that the president of the University of Liberia does not work for them. He works for Liberia. And what he's doing is what we call nationalism. These people are a bunch of criminals. Let me stop
And
there
and,
and give you the opportunity.
and to say the truth here, at least for once, Dr. Nelson is doing something positive.
Absolutely.
Because so many other things being talked about, his leadership and
Mhm.
what is not happening at the university since he took over classes, are suspended. Matter of fact, I spoke with someone who said currently they're doing renovation work at a university. It's
Yeah.
anticipated that they will resume classes on the 27th of June. I don't know how true that is, but right now I don't think they're
There
holding
have been
classes.
some fraud. There have been some fraud around that because it is my understanding that the foundation is on the graduate programs, and the students from the undergraduates are saying that hey, if you renovate one, you have to renovate all. So right now, the university is in crisis. But even in the wake of that, Volcano, we stand with Dr. Nelson, George Weah, Samuel Tue, Justin Medra. We stand with them 100%. These people are criminals. They are stealing from Liberia. How
But
do
let's
you
get
work
back.
for the University of Liberia and you claim to be a professor at the University of Liberia? You go, you teach one course and you call that what? 8 hours? Come on, man. That's not right.
Yeah, but Moses, let's also go
Yeah.
back to the drawing board.
Mhm.
I know you're calling Samuel Tour, you're calling George Weah. How long has this been going on? That the Ministry of Finance that is paying salaries did not pick it up.
Look, there are. I know. You see, our society is saying that for the fact that it did not happen years back, that does not in any way imply that this time around they can correct the error.
Okay.
So this one, let's give it to them. They have shown leadership. This is about Liberia, and these quote unquote professors must be held accountable. These people must be held accountable. This is not in the interest of Liberia. These people are literally stealing from Liberia. Yes.
So do you think it would be expedient, and unfortunately, I don't know the situation whether they have unions in Liberia, like some organizations here or companies here have union.
Mhm.
And then when you go contrary to the employer,
Uh-huh.
you can be terminated. So like those people who decided that they will, uh, call for the resignation of Dr. Nelson, if the university's authority decides that based on what you
I
guys
mean,
have, you know, what you guys have put forth. We don't think that it aligns with our expectations, so we're going to let you go. Do you think, based on all of this, it can backfire to create some layoffs, especially for the rank leaders?
uh, um, I think the university, because I will surmise that the law the Liberian government is enforcing conforms to Liberia's labor law. Somebody just didn't wake up. If Volcano, you and I will work at LBS, it was never possible for you and I to work at the Ministry of Information at the same time. That's fraud. And that's what the Labor Ministry, that's what the Finance Ministry is enforcing. You have the right to choose between the two. Go to Ministry of Information or remain at LBS.
But in fact, I remember when you guys used to come to EBC
Yes,
to do your production,
yes.
you were information
I was
employees.
an information employee.
When you and Amos Andrews used to
It
come,
was under let
and then you said, no, it looked like EBC sweeter than the Ministry of Information. I won't cross carpet.
I made a
Right?
choice. And then I made a choice. I said, hey, I will cross copy and go to LBS. I
Yeah.
went to LBS. I did not work for the Ministry of Information. At the same time, clocking in at LBS. I didn't do that. You didn't do that. Patrick Manjo didn't do that. Cyrus Vadia didn't do that. Kwame Clement didn't do that. Why these people are robbing Liberia? We should condemn these people to the highest. We stand with the president of the University of Liberia. These people are criminals. They should be held accountable.
But let me just play one little devil advocate before we leave this. So
Sure.
let's just say hypothetically the guy worked at the Ministry of Finance in the accounts department, right?
Yes.
And then his expertise he decided to teach because
Yeah.
they don't have a lot of professionals to teach.
Yeah.
So he
At the
goes to the
University of
university and
Liberia.
he's teaching at the university,
Mhm,
or the
mhm.
other way around. He
Yeah.
teaches at the university full time,
Mhm.
and then based on his experience, he gets
Yeah.
called to the Ministry of Finance to
To
work there.
work. Yeah.
The university don't get pay his salary on time, but the
Mhm.
finance ministry paying his salary on time.
On time. Yeah.
So he holding on to the university job because
Mhm.
maybe there's a degree, and I would use the word indispensability because sometimes you find an expert who teaches the subject matter better than many people,
Of
and
course.
so the
Yeah. Mhm.
university sees him as the expert,
Yeah.
doesn't want him to go right,
Mhm,
and
mhm,
so they say they were accommodating and turn the blind eye since
mhm.
the salary is not forthcoming at the university. However, it's forthcoming at the Ministry of Finance because, of course, Samuel Tua
Yeah.
gets paid before anybody else, right? And he makes
Yeah.
sure that makes rather sure that his Ministry of Finance, the
People
people are
get paid.
satisfied.
Yeah.
So how do you look at that, Moses? Do
But
I make sense
I
here?
no, definitely you did. And this is where sometimes you have to go back to the drawing table and do the analysis. Yes, it is true. Again, like I will use any of us here as example. If the expertise we have, if we choose to go back to Liberia and work for LBS and salaries are not coming regularly, if we have bills to pay, the Ministry of Information is paying us consistently, then the choice is ours to say, hey, you know what? We have family to take care of. This is no time for what, and I'm doing it because I want people to say, yeah, this guy is it's a nationalist. The first law of nature is what? Self-preservation. That's it for Kendall.
So, but
Self-preservation.
it's possible. It's possible then in this
Yeah.
vein
Mhm,
that I can stay with the Ministry of Finance,
mhm.
or I can still at Ministry of Information, and just
Anyone you choose to.
do a free radio,
Bro, yeah,
production
if you,
at LBS,
yeah,
just volunteer my service or teach at the
absolutely.
university on a pro bono basis.
Absolutely, if you choose to.
Okay.
if you choose so. And I think the problem the university is having with these professors is that they are building the government twice. Not for 2 hours, 3 hours, they are building for 8 hours. How do you reconcile that? You are LBS on the radio and concomitantly building the Ministry of Information for the same 8 hours. How do you explain that? You're at the Ministry of Finance, you're on the clock. Volcano, you're a manager. Do you expect any of your staff to build the organization you work for 8 hours? And at the same time, clocking in the same 8 hours, not even with government, but with another entity at the same time. Don't you see a problem with that? This is what these people are doing. How can you be two places at the same time and you build at the same time? That's not doable. These people are criminals. They
All
are.
right. All right. Let's move on to the next topic here, quick, before
Sure,
we ready to start our full discussion.
sure.
I think this it took a little bit of time here tonight,
Mhm.
but what you know about the Liberian government regarding the construction work on the Banga Salaye Highway, they're assuming and presuming that it would
That
be
is going to be in July.
ready July
Yes.
2023. Why July 2023? Is that
That's what.
a subtle campaign message?
Well, that's what the company, the Chinese company that is undertaking the road construction. There's the tentative date that the ministry, I mean, that the Chinese company passed on to the Ministry of Public Works. So for now, we can see that is tentative. That in July of 2023, maybe most of our major projects in Liberia they are dedicated during the Christmas season. So thinking that July is Liberia's independence month, maybe they want to plan it for the same time. So, according to media report, the Ministry of Public Works says that construction work on the highway, the Banga Salaye Highway, the construction work will come to an end in July of 2023. I think that's also a good news for Liberia, right?
Yeah. So the last thing here we have is the Association of Liberian Journalists here in America says it will shortly launch a scholarship fund drive for deserving students
Mhm.
at the University of Liberia, and that would be those students in the Department of Communications and Media Studies.
Yes.
Um, According to Alja's national president Joe Mason, the scholarship will be launched at the university's main campus. What do you know? You're former president, President Emeritus, and you work closely with the current president of Alja.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, what do you
Mr.
know?
Messi and I, Mr. Messi and I, we are good friends. He talks to me on a consistent basis. And we got a good rapport, and we had the opportunity of talking. And that is something that Volcano, when you were board chair, when I was president, this is a project that we initiated the media development fund. My administration, at the time, Mr. Mason was vice president. We initiated that, and that is why I have a good rapport. I'm sure you have a good rapport with Joe. Everything we started, all of the good things we started, Joe is maintaining it.
That's government is continuity.
Absolutely, yeah. So, Mr. Mason informed me yesterday that, and that is commendable. There are too many students in the Department of Mass Communication, Media Studies, that that need help. So Aja has some money. Aja wants to launch a scholarship program that will help to cater to these needy students. When I was national president, I initiated a similar thing. But the former chairman of the Department of Mass Communication was very dishonest. We did not succeed with our program because it was poorly managed. Joe and I, we had some behind the scene discussion, and I hope that he's also looking at. And
Quick, quick, quick,
we
quick
trust the
question.
current leadership. Yeah.
People will ask you if the president
Yeah.
is paying, for everything
Mhm.
in the state university is tuition free, then what
Yeah.
scholarship are you providing for students at LU?
Yeah, that's a very good question. What is happening at the University of Liberia? Yeah, it is true that George Weah woke up one morning, look at the blue sky as he impulsively does, and declare tuition-free university. But if you go to the university today, the fees those students pay. If you do the math, you're almost talking about tuition. So the recipients of the Agile scholarship, Agile will step up to the place to pay those fees. You
Okay.
know, yeah, Agile is going to step up to the place to pay those fees.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you just
Mhm.
joined us, this is the Issues Room. We are presenting our 66th edition here today. It's Friday, June 17th. The show is an hour and a half, usually 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time,
Mhm.
and 11 to 12:30 midnight Greenwich Mean Time. Moses Sandy and I, Volcano Shelton. Moses, our conversation today centers around uh, the issue of, from what you see, it seems as though the collaborating political parties, the CPP, has collapsed, but then their other quarters say it's disintegrated because it's not formally done with.
Mhm.
Um, but not only that, you also see the political leaders of these political institutions don't have the kind of camaraderie.
Right.
They don't seem to live up to the purpose for which the CPP was, given birth.
Right.
Um, Yet the name callings, the partisans, the stalwarts in the party, the higher ups, the mudslinging, and all of that. So as a result, it gives a better, or rather, a different picture as to what 2023 going to look like. I was in a close conversation where the guy said to me, "George, we are going to win the presidency come 2023," and I asked him, I said, "You mean in the first term?" He said, "No, no, it's not possible. There would be a runoff, and the runoff, he will win the runoff." And then I said, "On what basis?" He said, "The politician that will join him." And who are the politicians? He said, those same people that are fighting among themselves. Moses, and I said to him, and I was very emphatic, and I could be wrong, that from what I have seen so far, with regards to Joseph Boyka, Alexander Cummings,
Mhm.
Benoni Ure, Yombli Kanga, and the Abraham Darius Dillon team.
Mhm.
I named those people and I said, "Do you really think that one of these people who have seen everything around them, irrespective of where they are, and if there was a runoff, they would take their vote because there's so much in animosity to the point that they will give the country to Weah again for another 6 years? The country is already hanging on a cliff, and then it will fall in the valley." And then he said, "You'd be surprised." So, Moses, what is that surprise? Do you really think, and do your analysis here? I'll give you,
Yeah. Mhm.
enough time to do your analysis. Do you really think here tonight, Moses, that irrespective of all that you've seen over the last year regarding the CPP and the going to court and all of that, and people not speaking, do you think these people will put the personal greed up front and compromise the livelihood of the Liberian people and the prospect of our country going forward? in positive ways, that our image can be regained in the international community, rather than a few little places here this government sends people and they make a big deal. When we have the global community, look how the world is rallying around the Ukraine.
Mhm.
Liberia could enjoy some of those benefits.
Okay.
But look at what happened to our country. Do you really think that Etiawon Gonglo would give his vote to Weah? Do you think that Joseph Boakai would give his vote to Weah because Alexander Cummings rather goes into the runoff with Weah? Or if flip it around, Boakai goes into the runoff with Weah, Cummings would say, okay, I'm going to go with Weah, or, Yambli Kanga. So tell me here, Moses, what do you think?
Look, okay, no, I beg to disagree with the individual you spoke to. 2023 will be a defining moment in Liberia. The CDC is not going to walk in the park. It's not a walk to the park. 2023 will be a defining moment in Liberia. So for George Weah and his people to live in fantasy, so the CPP has crumbled. It means that we have won the second term. Like when you go into the park, it's not doable. I'm telling you. 2023, if you follow the politics of Liberia, I had the opportunity of listening to a group of young people yesterday on Spoon TV. As I listened to those guys,
You mean the young
I
people
was
from the young people from Thomas Fallas district?
yes. As I listened to them, I was saddened. George Weah is an absolute disappointment to Liberia. So to re-elect George Weah, that would be sacrificing the future of Liberia. I mean, this is just the fact of the matter. Let's look at George Weah. Let's look at where he came from and where he is today. This man in 2017, Liberians sacrificed. They said, let's give him the opportunity. When the political campaign was on, when people were campaigning, George Weah said nothing. Volcano, did George Weah convince you to vote for, did he convince anybody in Liberia? He did not sell the CDC because George Weah is not a politician. He doesn't understand anything around him. He's a follower. He listens to McGill. He listens to Tuel. These are the people, Jefferson Koji, a complete novice. These are the people that are pushing George Weah around. And to give George Weah a second term, that's sacrificing Liberia. I don't think Liberians are prepared for that. So I strongly believe that come 2023, the opposition will get its act together. This is about nationalism. It's about Liberia. For Ken, you have been to Liberia repetitively. You know the stories. I, on this side, I only read and listen to what people tell me. You have been there consistently. Does George Weah come across as a leader? Of course not. So to serve 6 years and giving another repeat, Liberia is going to go down.
So let me just say this.
Yes.
And coming from Liberia over the last month, when this kind of conversation is being held, you hear the people who say, "But why The people disappoint us. The opposition and the disappoint us. You
Mhm.
know, will hope that they will get their acts together, but they
Yeah.
really disappoint us. So a lot of the ball will win again.
Mhm.
That's what you hear in the
Yeah, that's the
circle.
fear. Mhm.
The ball will win again, and so honestly, those oppositions who are hearing us tonight, what have they to show now that will tilt the electorates toward them? Because they
It's
need the number, Moses. They
absolutely,
need the number to go to the second round.
absolutely, and this
If
is where
if it's not convincing enough, and these guys decide to rig the elections, so be it. But they have it
that could
has
be
to be
another chance.
convincing enough, Moses.
Yeah, that could be another chance.
It has to be
But
convincing enough. Let me
I,
tell you something. Let me tell you
yeah.
something quickly. If you
Mhm.
go back to the elections of Delon against
Mhm.
Thomas Fowler,
Mhm.
the writing was all on the wall.
Mhm.
The billboards were everywhere. Just the turnout was convincing enough that even if the commissioners wanted to play any kind of hanky panky,
Yeah.
they were afraid. So it would behoove these politicians now who are so disintegrated, don't want to see each other, to begin now to hold each other hand and start to raise it high and say, irrespective of our differences, we are
Yeah,
still
this
moving.
is about
We,
Liberia.
yeah, we can move in our separate directions,
Yeah,
but we'll stay in accord to unseat this government.
they have to.
We'll stay in the same accord, and come 2023, we will make that decision. But people want to see it. People want to be engaged. People want to
Mhm.
see them talking. People want to see them vocal.
Mhm.
But the president don't talk. Then the oppositions themselves don't talk.
Yeah,
Then you
they're
leave
not.
the Liberian people in a place where they are confused.
I agree.
And that's what happened in
Mm.
Moses.
And this is the time to begin. This is the time to begin to tell the people that hey, we are here for you. The opposition need to get its act together. This is about Liberia. It's about the future of Liberia. You have a government that is not accountable. You have a president who is completely disengaged, and you want to give him another 6 years. Where will Liberia be? Volcano, a former president of Asia, my first or 2 years, I needed to prove to my colleagues there I was up to the task. I did that. You guys gave me another 2 years. George Weah, the people of Liberia, gave him 6 years. He still hasn't gotten it. He has not been able to demonstrate to his colleagues globally, to demonstrate to Liberians, to demonstrate to African leaders that he understands what? Political leadership. And you gave him another 6 years? Where would Liberia be? So this is the time for politicians in Liberia, for nationalists of Liberia, to tell this man that, hey, Mr. Weah, we love you, but we love Liberia more than you. Joseph Boakai, Alexander Cummings, Benina Urek. This is about Liberia. You guys need to do your work together, man.
And you know something, Moses?
Yeah.
And it's interesting when you think about the invitations we've given up to these guys. They
Yeah.
want to go to the platforms where it's going to be soft with them.
Absolutely, yeah.
We you're not even president yet, and you won't talk to us. And these are the opportunities. Come get grilled. Come in the issues room so you can answer to the questions
Answer the
Liberian people
questions.
want you to answer.
Yeah.
But when you extend an invitation, they want you to go through hell and back.
Oh, yeah.
I'm
In
making
fact,
you.
they want
You're
you
not
to go
president
through a
yet.
vetting process.
Yeah, we are making you popular. So when the issues room extend an invitation to you as a political aspirant, you should be
You
glad.
should be running.
You should be running. Because maybe you go to the soft platform,
yeah,
you're not going to go anywhere. The Liberian people want honesty, they want candid responses, and it's important.
yeah. This is the
But let's come
time.
back. Let's come back
Yeah,
to the conversation. And
and coming back, right, erupt. If I may just add on to what you said, let me not leave Councillor Gonglo out. Councillor Gonglo, our man from the People's Liberation Party (PLP), or Dr. Cassell, all of you need to put Liberia first. This is about Liberia. Ain't no time for, oh, well, I'm a CDC man or, a PLP man. This is about Liberia. You can't afford to do this, man. The people need a chance. Look, I talked to somebody yesterday. Again, I was on the phone, and the gentleman said to me, Moses, I said, yeah. He said, man, I'm hungry. I was touched emotionally. I said, as we always talk back, I said, man, what's going on? He said, man, I'm hungry. I almost cried. And he said, since they have not eaten. He said, man, this country is hard. We are struggling in this country. You have a handful of people living using the state resources
at a will and pleasure.
Yes, personal well-being. A handful of people. And you want to give these people 12 years? Wait till what happened to our people. Volcano?
Let me say this. Let me say this quick. President Weah came to power as a conduit through which many of those young men you see now living flashy and opulence lifestyle.
Yeah.
That's why they're being attached to him.
Yeah.
That's why they're doing everything to stay in power.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say if President Weah is smart, the same way he sacrificed to play soccer for the country when it was in war, I know that he took some of his own monies to transport the team, charter flights. 6 years. 6 years. It's enough for him.
It's enough. I agree.
It's enough for him. He's gotten all his money back. He's rich. He's made most of his boys rich.
Mm-hmm.
But for him to come back another 6 years,
no.
I don't know how much different, or difference rather is going to make or they're going to, do, because they made it very glaring. The first 6 years was to get rich. And from the look of things, this last year into 2023, they're going to take everything that they can take.
Oh, yeah.
And you talked about your friend telling you he has not eaten since day and the country is hard. Also, I just came back. I left Liberia May 9th. The country is hard.
I'm telling you.
I talked to a family member who's traveling tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, what's your route? He said, I'm going by Brussels. Only Brussels flying to Liberia now, because if the airport stays in the dark, of course, how many flights, airlines rather want to raise their flights? But Brussels has been with Liberia through all these years. And so I guess those pilots now, they understand the dynamics. Yeah. So you cannot fly to Liberia now because Brussels is overbooked.
See that?
Because it's the only airline now that really making
that
flights
goes to Liberia.
So he said that. So I said, where your flight? He said Philadelphia. to, he said something about New York or something, or Detroit or something, to Belgium, which is Brussels, to Sierra Leone, and to darkness. Did you get the phone here? I repeat. I said,
I got
what's the
you.
flight? So what's
I
the
got
flight
it.
route? Yeah, so what's the flight route? He said my
It's,
flight route begins at Philadelphia,
yeah,
I believe in
and
Detroit to Brussels, Brussels to
that's it.
Freetown, and Freetown to darkness.
It's
Now you got it, Joe. Now you
I
got it.
got it. I got
Yeah.
it, Joe.
He
Yeah.
didn't say to Morovia, he said to
Yeah. It
darkness.
says to darkness.
Because that's what you're gonna find when you
That's
get to
why you go.
Morovia.
Yeah.
You leave that Rabat International Airport, it's nothing but pitch black, dark on that highway.
Yeah.
Old trucks parked. They don't even put cones on the ground. They barely put, root up those big grass and put it like two or three. By the time you make up your mind, you're already on the truck
Yeah. Nobody
in that
cares, man.
dark. You
Nobody
know.
cares.
So what more left now for these guys to take? The country is already in this
Darkness.
situation of no return. The country is locked down. It's
Oh no.
strangulated.
And you talk
It's
about the country
suffering.
being, yeah. And to piggyback on what you're saying, you said the country is locked down. Nothing is left. These are the same people who were prosecuted Brownie Samuka. They said, Mr. Samuka, the AFL money, you misdirected our money. Because of that, you will not be allowed to take your seat. And what happened? The same people, the raw fund, are told more than $25 million. They supplied Samuel to it. More than $25 million. They supplied. And this is the man you get another what? 6 years? Come on, man.
But Moses, doesn't this let's look at it from the perspective. Should this
Mhm.
surprise you? How many of our corrupt leaders globally
Yeah.
who have amassed wealth, and by the snap of the finger, God takes their lives,
Oh,
and
yeah.
that's it. It's over.
Several. Several.
It's over.
Several. Several. Yeah.
So they don't even have graves.
No.
Look at one of the richest presidents in Africa, Gaddafi. Where was he caught? In a drainage. Look at Saddam Hussein. Where was he
Yeah.
caught? In a rabbit hole.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, all the riches
So
accumulated
I
over
mean,
there.
I don't
I got you. Yeah.
understand. God is the ultimate.
But look.
God is the ultimate in everything that we must do in this life.
Mhm.
He should be front and center. We should be afraid.
Yeah.
How much can one man has? How much?
But
How many
the,
how many rooms do you sleep in at night? How many beds?
what are you
You
talking
can
about?
have 50 bedroom house, 200 bathrooms. You still got to sit on one toilet. You still got to go in one bed to sleep. You still got to sleep in one bedroom. You still got to only watch one television. You still got to ride one car. You can have 200 cars. You're going to ride one car
You
because
talking
God designed us this way. So no matter how much we want, no matter how I got a collection. I love watches, so I have a collection of watches.
and they
But I have to
just
only wear
lined up
one.
at
Yeah,
the time, right?
I only can wear one watch on my wrist.
That's it. That's it, Volcano. And
It's one of everything.
when someone dies, a
One
little
casket.
space created, one little casket. They put you in there, finish.
So
And now
sometimes I
it's left.
think about it.
Oh look,
Rational people should look back and say, wait a minute,
mhm,
let's step back.
look,
13 men in the history of our country
mhm,
was put on poles and executed
yeah,
in the name of corruption.
name of corruption.
Tahiti men.
But look,
And then the very government that did that was more corrupt
more corrupt than the
physically.
people.
And look
That
at how that government came out of
eliminate.
power
Yeah.
on the
But
premise of corruption.
yeah,
And then here comes Mr. Taylor.
Mr. Taylor.
Look how he came out of power.
And where he is today. So you
So
see,
what more of an example that we must give for people to wake up and say, listen, the little I
it
make,
is funny
once
that
it
yeah,
takes care of me and my family, that's enough.
absolutely.
That's enough.
Mhm.
I listened to Tiawon Gonglo the other day. Was it
Yeah.
last night? And he was
Okay.
talking about no one can point finger about his corruption anywhere in public service. He challenged anyone.
Yeah. So if you think you have any dike on you, bring it out.
Yes, yes. And he said
And
that he was tempted. Of
yeah,
course, yes. Imagine the guy was labor minister and he
yeah,
started to make, hold the foreigners accountable because they were
yeah,
bringing the low brothers
mhm,
and whoever small, putting them in the store to be store boys. And so he decided to make the work permit
yeah.
way
Create
expensive.
opportunity for ordinary Liberians. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
made the work permit way expensive so that it would discourage them from bringing these, kids who didn't have any skills, but rather
Mhm.
use Liberians. Do you think that he was not breaking a syndicate? Yes, he
Oh, he
was.
did. He did.
And you think those people didn't go to sit with him to bribe him? Of course,
Of course
yes.
he did. The people raise, but that's what the Lebanese and Indians do. They raise money to take the public officials. That's what they do. When you hear about the Lebanese Cultural Union,
That whole commerce ministry, that
yes,
commerce
that's what
ministry,
they
that whole,
do.
all the guys, the man that
You
got,
guys,
you will hear them say, oh, I got 2 or 3 Lawani men and all I
yeah,
need.
yeah.
Every month
They
I'm
go
getting my
to the,
stuff.
they go to their peers and raise money, and they
Liberia,
collect it.
Liberia.
That's what they do. Look, Volcano, to tell you how terrible the issue of greed is. Uh, when George Weah came to power, what did he do? He lined out condominiums on a shady condition. It is my understanding now that the red light, there are officials of government that have erected stores. And because they have stores at Omega, they are asking business people to leave red light to go to Omega and what? Rent from them. Look at that kind of conflict of interest. What is this? Volcano? That's how terrible governance has become in Liberia. It's all about what I can get for myself. And like you said, people quick to forget. Before I traveled to the United States, when I was at LBS, I used to travel around the country a lot. Volcano, I traveled to Dreadful Grand Junior County, where the late Samuel Doe came from. Before Mr. Doe passed, he was erecting a mini mansion. When I went to Dreadful, that place was what? A forest. Everything crumbled. Dreadful. When Mr. Doe and his people came, what did they do? They brought Dreadful down to the ground. Street lights, everything destroyed. And you know why? People were being mad. What Mr. Doe and his people did to people in Nimba. I'm saying this to say, like you said, that everything we do is vanity. George Weah, Thomas Fowler, or Nathaniel Magay, all the good things you guys are doing, they are all vanity. Wasting your time. You will be held accountable. And that will start 2023. The people will hold these people accountable. I can tell you, George Weah will not be a second term. The people are upset. There's no governance in the country, Volcano. You come from there. George Weah is completely disengaged. Liberia image internationally is stacking. You have a foreign minister that doesn't travel. Is that the kind of people you're going to bring back into government?
And you know, interestingly, this foreign minister, good you brought it up.
Yes, you have
This
a
man
foreign
has
minister.
the man has a dark cloud
Yes.
over his head. He cannot come to the United States. He cannot visit the United Nations. So why is he still foreign minister?
Because George Weah is not a leader. And Moses Sunday will not have such man as Minister of Foreign Affairs. I dismiss you the next day.
So you're telling me
Shelton.
all these qualified Liberians, and that's why I said the other day here, it was a slap in the face to all the people who worked at the Liberian Maritime Authority over the years, who have been groomed through the ranks and file, you know, to get to the echelon of leadership. Are you telling me that within the current LMA that there was no one to come in as the deputy commissioner for registry or whatever? You would take a girl,
and they had to send out
you would take a girl or a lady who didn't know her front from her back, who was quoted from a laptop forbidden.
Confirmation hearing.
I guess it's one of the guy's girlfriends, my man. Let me just get that now, man. It had to be one of their girlfriends, man.
But you know, Irab, I don't want to be definitive about that. I don't have the records, and you know, but I can tell you she was a misrepresentation. How do you go for confirmation?
Okay, I'm alleging.
Yeah. How do you go for confirmation hearing? You graduated from a university, Volcano, Shelton. You and I are college graduates. They wake you up tomorrow and tell us. Someone asks you, Volcano, what school you graduated from, and give us your website. You were reciting. I would do the same thing. If you have a degree and you don't know the website, you're searching online. What kind of university is that?
No, she said, please let me send it to you in email. Let me send it to you.
George Weah is a joke, my man.
You know, so I mean, you know, but let's come back to these
this guy is a joke, my man. Yeah,
let's come back to these politicians.
So back to the politician. This is the time to put Liberia first. Mr. Vice President, former Vice President Joseph Boakai, Benona Ure, you guys need to work in unison. Alexander comments. Our man, the PLP, Dr. Cassell, all of you.
Your man Cassell say he not joining nobody. They coming to join him. you see. So that everybody wants to be president. Cassell say he's not joining nobody. They will come to join.
This is about Liberia, man. And Councillor Gonglo, we want to appeal to you. Think about Liberia. All of you need to get together. George Weah has to be a one-term president. Can't sit in that country and now that may become, a second-term president. No! This is about Liberia. Ain't no joke here. Oh, well, the man, From this other party, no. This is about Liberia. Volcano, this is about Liberia. Ain't no George. George Weah has to be a one-term president. That's what the people need to do.
Damn, my man, it seems where y'all put it on my party here in the US and y'all took my president off. Y'all said Donald Trump gotta be one-term president. Now y'all got body. Yeah, the gas price. When I be talking to him and say about anything like that before.
No,
Yeah.
you can't blame Biden. This is global.
But so I see where y'all got behind my old man Donald Trump and said, man, gotta go.
Yeah. But then we gotta put it behind George Weah. George Weah has to be a one-term president. George Weah is a disappointment. This is not debatable. It is feasible everywhere you turn. The man incompetence is so huge that everywhere you turn, it is feasible. George Weah is grossly incompetent. It's not presidential material. He has to go. And our opposition must put Liberia first. I'll stop there.
And I think you're right in terms of putting Liberia first. And when we look at the configuration of the political scene, with all of these guys, who believe in themselves, I'm telling you right now, with Mr. Gonglo going around the country here in the US and rallying support, he may get to a point where he feels that I'm the it. Waga has always been thinking that he is the it, right? He has the massive following. Cummings thinks that no, Baga is not the it. He doesn't have the money equal to me. I can influence the process. Then you got Bernard USA, man. I just want to go back to Maritime. So whoever I will run behind that person. Then you got young leader, I won't be vice president, so you can do all your fighting. Give me my hero. But these people are putting their personal needs first. Then the country's need. Then the suffering Liberian people, Moses.
Volcano, man.
Because at what point, and this conversation is on the premise of when we go to the second round, with everything that has happened with the CPP and everything, and I say everything because it's visible that everyone knows they went to court. People pull away from the CPP. So today, I doubt it if Cummings has picked up the phone to call Barker, or Barker call Cummings and say, man, we're sorry, you won the case. Let's see how we can come back together. I don't know if that has happened, right? So with everything that has happened, do you think we get back to 2023? We get to 2023, these guys will have the stomach enough to put all of this crap behind them, because this was just bull crap.
Yeah.
This was insignificant noise they made, going all over the place. Would they be willing to put this behind them? And no matter who becomes the runner-off or runner-up, you understand me, will get the rally support of the oppositions. That's what we're talking about tonight. Who do you think on the cross, deals under the table? Do you see those guys like Bernard Ayure going behind Weah? Do you see Yumbli Kanga taking her faction of the Liberty Party behind Weah? Or do you see Musa Belede at that point say, listen, man, they think, and Weah say to Musa Belede, my man, come be with me as my vice president. We ain't going to Joel Howard Taylor. So it's going to be a serious stuff. But if these people really, really put their acts together, they can save the Liberian people and they can save Liberia.
And that's what Liberia needs.
I wouldn't have had any problem with President Weah had he done so much in the promises he made and has not lived up to those promises.
He hasn't lived up.
You go to Liberia, Moses, is one of the most lawless places on the face of the earth, even in this modern day.
Yeah.
People just do whatever they want to do.
No one seems to be.
The country is overrun by foreigners. Overrun. People just coming from all over the place. They're building churches anywhere.
Look at that.
So foreign pastors.
Look at that.
People coming and just selling drugs.
And then what happens to the police?
So I mean, and these guys don't because they're able to, and you know what happened? They're
Mhm.
able to come through the traffic, put a siren on, somebody yelling, clear the way, you died at your own problem.
Look at that.
Yeah, oh yeah, man say you died at your problem, clear the way.
And can you imagine an official of government is in traffic and he's behaving like, you know,
That may come
the
for, I mean,
primitive, the primitive Erie
what they call the pilot or the escort or
in
the
the
car here.
Escort, yeah.
Yeah,
When you die, that you what?
problem,
Can
clear
you
the way.
imagine that?
Then the guy organized song, woo, woo, woo. They're making noise. Going to
Other
where?
when other
Going
countries
to
are
where,
moving,
Moses?
other
And going
countries
to
are
do
moving
what?
fast. Yeah,
You see the senators, you see the representatives, you see how they carry on. All the rushing to go do what?
nothing.
To go do what?
But some of
No,
them do
no
not.
class. Let me tell you something. No class in the image of the Senate, no class in the image of the judiciary system, no class in the image of the executive. Let's be practical here.
But
No
but
class.
but look, what you see in Volcano. Look, as a leader, what makes you a leader is when you have an understanding of what is happening in the organization or what is happening in the country that you live. But George Weah come across has not even known what is happening in his own country. When was the last time George Weah ever went to an international conference? And he came to Liberia and told Liberians that, hey, I went to this international conference. This is the position that I took because we think doing so would be in the interest of Africa and our country. What was the last thing you ever heard that?
But even the few trips this guy has made outside of the country to like Turkey and Dubai, when
Yeah,
does he come to address the Liberian
no,
people after
no,
spending millions of dollars in stipends
millions.
and chartering plane and all of
He
that,
comes back, he
classic
goes right
hotels and
into
come
his
back?
closet. Yeah.
Whatever, no, but whatever they get from those things, they put in a pocket and can't sit down
Mhm.
quietly.
Don't tell anybody anything.
Yeah,
The man doesn't speak to nobody or anything.
I heard in a close circle when they first came to power,
Yeah.
all the places that we I was going, he told the man and said, "My man, I the one went all those loan that they giving, that
Yeah.
my money."
Can you imagine that?
Yes, yes,
That sounds incredible.
yeah, that my
Really?
money. Yeah, yeah,
Oh
close
man,
circle.
that's sad. That's sad.
It could be live,
It could be
you know,
true. It
but
could also not be. But
it also
but
sounds like that because I
but
was
the way you
also
come across.
I come in. I was also told that
Mhm.
there's no amount of money small for President Weah.
Oh really?
No amount of money small
Even
for
five?
President Weah.
Oh come on. Well,
You remember he
that means
celebrated his birthday, right?
yeah,
Again, in close circle, all his ministers brought him gifts in an envelope,
yeah.
and one of his ministers brought him something in an envelope,
Mhm.
and he held the envelope and said, "Well, how did it small so?" And
No,
message Chief Jello inside.
no. That's
So no amount of
Ooh.
money is small for Weah. $5,000 he would take it. 10,000 he would take it.
But now you told me volcano, and let's come to ourselves. You as a manager at your job on your birthday, the people who report to you, do you tell them to fill envelopes and bring it for you?
I don't even
You
want
will
to
be
know
out
it's
of
my
that company
birthday.
the next day.
I
I
don't even
I,
want to.
I have
I don't.
never
I
done
don't
that
even
for
want
any
them
of
to know
my
it's my
bosses.
birthday.
Yeah, so maybe we need to educate George Weah today. When people report
Let
to
me let me
you,
let me put my disclaimer out here tonight because
yeah,
I'm drinking orange juice, and when I lift it, it looks kind of reddish. I don't want
yeah,
people to think
yeah.
otherwise,
Mhm.
but I'm drinking orange
So,
juice.
we need to educate George Weah. Maybe he doesn't know this thing yet. Mr. Weah, when you supervise people, you have a professional relationship with them. You don't tell them, oh, tomorrow is my birthday, and you have to literally bring a card. If the person chooses to, fine. If the person chooses not to, it's also okay. For the fact that you're president of the Republic of Liberia, it doesn't mean that the Minister of Finance works for you. The Minister of Finance is accountable to Liberia. The Minister of Finance is accountable to you. You don't tell the Minister of Finance that the envelope is small. I'm just being hypothetical, Mr. President. I'm not saying that Tue gave me an envelope. I'm only using Tue as an example.
And even what I said here could be misinformation, but accordingly it was in closed circle, and it's alleged that he was being given envelopes.
You tell people, tomorrow is my birthday, other you should bring envelopes.
Yeah.
Come on, man. George Weah, you are the #1 person in the country. You tell people who report to you, everybody got to bring envelopes. What is that? So then, when you do that, Mr. President, you have compromised the relationship between you and these people. When you talk to them, they no longer see you as an authority. Let me educate you, George Weah. Leaders don't do that. So if that's why you are doing those to those people, you are in the wrong. You don't do that. You don't hang out with people who you supervise. You are president. These people report to you. When you speak, you want them to know that the president has spoken. That's why you have that distinction between you and them. When you lead them, don't tell them and say, man, tomorrow is my birthday, I need this. Come on. If that's what you're doing, then you are not leading.
But Moses, I told you the other day that they're running a crowd-aboard government in Liberia. I did say that. And you see it is visible. Yeah.
But
somebody went to Jamaica Resort, and where all the ministers go to hang out on Saturdays and Sundays.
Yeah, oh my man, let's go hang out. No, Mr. President, you can be hanging out with your cabinet ministers. These people, when they come to see you, they should
people sit there and play Ludo all day. Ludo and checkouts.
When these people come to see you, Mr. President, they should know that they have met with the president. You say, hey, my man, how is the Ministry of Finance? How is the Ministry of Education? Ask them some tough questions. What are you doing towards this? You supervise. Not because you're president, it doesn't mean that people just do whatever that pleases them. If you have concern, you tell the Minister of State, say, hey, my man, please invite the Minister of Education. I have concern about Liberia's educational system. And the man comes to the mansion to see you. How it goes, Mr. President?
But you see, when the president makes himself, Moses, when the president makes himself so available, then it takes away the presidency. The presidency.
The presidency,
It takes away the presidency.
Of course.
The president should not be so available that every day, every Tom, Dick, and Harry can come and just hang out with him and sit there and play checkers and Ludo, or come play basketball.
Let's go to what, Jamaica? No.
Yeah. And that's what happened in our country. They're running a crowd-aboard government.
Oh, man.
They just show up anyhow.
It doesn't go like that.
Yeah, just walking in.
The presidency is the #1 position in the country. So you don't go playing Ludo. Don't get me wrong, you're a human being. If you play Ludo, you have your special family. Your first family. These are people you play Ludo with. Not your cabinet minister taking you around, or chief. Yeah, man, let's go practice basketball all the time. No, the presidency is not all about that. You were elected to lead. You have to provide what leadership, Mr. President. You are not doing that. And you're asking the people to give you another 6 years.
So
George
Moses,
Weah.
stop there. So
Yeah,
stop there. So stop there.
yeah,
So now
yeah,
the Liberian people in the same vein say that the oppositions are not serious.
yeah.
They see all of this and they're
So they're
not
going to get a
talking
man
about
another 6 years?
it. I'm coming. They're not talking about it. The oppositions are not. I mean, how many of the opposition are vocal? Those guys, let me tell you something. The old politicians
Mhm.
within a military regime, those guys were talking, they were going
Oh,
to
yeah.
jail,
Yeah, the guys were talking. Marcus Matthew,
right?
Kesselly,
Look at those
Daniel
guys, they were
Kesselly,
going
all
to
those
jail.
people. Yeah,
But
the
today,
guys,
the politicians, they ain't serious.
I mean, do you hear them?
They form one political party. They want to talk. They want to mince the words. They want to
Mhm,
be. They want to be careful with what they say.
mhm.
But how much talking Ome Bwakase can do? You tell me.
At least, he tries. Sometimes he talks to those critical issues.
But we're
But
talking about real
like,
talking. We're talking about
yeah,
talking like President
mm,
Shelton
mm,
Kennedy. Then you talking like you talking secret.
mhm. I mean, I agree. Other than
Yeah.
these people should be raising the issue.
The minute when in Liberia they don't talk when they kind they won't talk, but then they scared they gotta go back home. And Moses,
Yeah,
Moses,
you.
listen to me, man. The men on the ground they don't talk, but the kind they won't talk, but then they be scared to go back home. They say, "Hey
Yeah,
God,
yeah,
I
but
gotta go."
but you don't forget what you saying.
Oh God,
It just reminds me when I was Argent national president. We talk more than the politicians. Am I right? We dealt with those core issues. We say it came a point that George Weah knew that whenever we spoke, he knew that an organization had spoken.
but that wasn't just George Weah. We were talking about Ellen too, because I just
Yes,
resuscitated during
yes.
Ellen's
We
era.
we we did it. Yeah, we did the same thing with Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. We are accountable. When I was president, I held George Weah accountable. And Joe Milton is also holding George Weah accountable. AJA is one of the diaspora organizations that holds this administration accountable. Nobody says nothing. Even the PLE
But
Liberia
hold on,
is
my man. We'll
quiet.
soon be getting our own 300,000.
Yeah, Eula that's supposed to hold Mr. Weah accountable. Eula is silent. The president of Liberia is silent. The only group that holds George Weah accountable is AJA. It shouldn't be like that. So I agree with you. Opposition need to speak. Omebwaka, Alexander Cummings, Dr. Casal, Councillor Gonglo, Mr. Ure, you need to hold George Weah accountable.
And let me
Yeah.
just bring this. Let me just bring this to the Liberian people tonight as we wind down.
Mhm.
In this current configuration of political oppositions, I don't see any charismatic person. I really don't see anybody who has control over the microphone, who is a crowd puller, who's able to, cajole the crowd. I
No,
haven't seen it.
I would give some credit to Councillor Gonglo. He has been raising his voice.
What I'm saying, I'm talking about,
Okay. Yeah, that
public
will make
speakers,
people to
man.
follow. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I got you.
Who can rally the troop
Mhm.
that even a opposition candidate will be scared.
Yes, millionaire.
Yeah, that man in the forefront. We ain't got
Yeah.
we ain't got nobody
Absolutely.
talking.
Yeah, nobody's saying nothing. They're
Look at
following the man.
look at the configuration of the political oppositions right now.
Mhm.
I haven't seen anyone that I can gravitate toward who have command,
Yeah.
authority.
And Mr. Weah has what? A fee day now. because nobody says nothing.
And if we was just a little vocal, he could tip the scale on his
Yeah.
end.
But he says nothing, so nothing is happening. Nobody knows what is happening in the country. And look, my man, the situation is so sad. The president says nothing. The foreign minister says nothing. So Liberia's image. Where's Liberia's image? You have a foreign minister that's completely disengaged from the world. The president says nothing.
So the man not doing his job.
No,
So he's not doing his job.
he's not
The
doing
bulk
his
of his
job.
job is outside.
Yeah, he's not doing his job. He has the minister of state, the minister of finance doing his job. All these trips that Maggie been making, those trips supposed to be made by what? Kimaya. When last you ever heard Kimaya talking about something happening at the UN? At ECOWAS. When was the last time he was in the picture? And this is the people that you want to give them another 6 years? No. George Weah cannot get another 6 years. You can't. The people of Liberia cannot give this man another 6 years because he has failed miserably. George Weah has failed miserably. Yeah. The man went to Equatorial Guinea where he attended the AU meeting. At that meeting, they talk about what? Minimizing conflict on the African continent. Trying to control this problem of overthrow in Africa. When George Weah came, what did he tell you people? Nothing. And this is the man that wants another 6 years? Yeah, Volcano, you tell me. The people who are talking about running campaign for George Weah, what do they have to tell or what do they have to show to Liberians when it comes to championing the cause of George Weah for a second term? How do they explain that?
But then this is where the politicians should come in and present this litany of issues.
This is the opportunity for them.
And make a case.
Make the case.
And if you're not talking now and you're waiting to the 9th hour, I don't know.
I agree.
I truly don't know. So the conversation begins now.
This is the time.
The conversation begins now. And it must begin in a way, as I said, it must be charismatic. It must be loud. Like the people say, a clarion call.
Yeah.
You gotta blow the trumpet.
You got to.
And you got to just talk to the Liberian people. You got to talk to the world. You got to talk to the international community.
And this is
the
time to
be able to sell your agenda to the international community. Because the international community, it is a part and parcel of the process.
It is.
You got to start engaging stakeholders. Listen to me.
Yeah.
These politicians need to start engaging stakeholders outside. External stakeholders. Since the president is failing to extend his base because of the kind of people he has around him, you have a foreign minister who is not able to extend your base, then politicians need to start taking advantage. And you know what? Yeah. I'm not gonna blow Charles Taylor horn here tonight. But this is the kind of climate that Taylor, as an opposition, I'm coming. Hold on. Yeah.
No, but what I'm saying,
let me finish.
I am supporting what you're saying.
But hold on. Let me just say this quick. This is the kind of climate that Charles Taylor, being an opposition, who have taken advantage of. His government will have been formed now. He had a foreign minister already.
Yeah.
That's the point I want to make.
Yeah.
You have known the configuration of his government. If Charles Taylor was opposition now with the NPP and going against the CDC, they're zero. Yeah. They are zero. So why
It's a,
these politicians get borrowed from the blueprint and the book of, you know, the man Gange?
yeah, I agree.
He had his ways, but that guy was popular.
Of course.
That guy was influential.
He knew the issues, man.
You know.
Mr. Taylor
But
knew the
Moses,
issues. Yeah. And
um,
I want to say this quickly. Mr. Taylor knew the issues. He knew how to articulate it. And he came across what? As a leader. When Taylor spoke, Labura knew that Taylor had spoken. When someone ever asked you, what did the president say? Have you ever heard that in Liberia? Because we don't have anybody who does that. And this is the man who won another 6 years. Never talk to his own people. He goes, he travels, spend thousands of dollars. He come, he doesn't
he's in
tell
thousand,
Liberia.
say a few million of dollars. Is it
Yeah.
thousand?
He spend all that money he comes by. He never tells the country what he spent and why he spend it. No. And this is the man who won another 6 years.
No accountability, man.
Yeah.
Those guys just playing the Liberian people, little donut phone and whatever
Absolutely.
they can get through, high tariff and all of that. Nothing, man, nothing. And
The man is
misappropriating,
unable. Mhm. Go
the
ahead.
misappropriating the phones, giving excuses for this one and that one. And I mean, these guys just running a credible government. That's how I put it. Credible government, no accountability. And it's sad. But Moses, I
Yeah.
think the politicians have
This is the
a
time
fight,
for them. Mhm.
and they don't have enough time. Um, Somebody got to step to the plate to
Mhm.
really, really take the bull by the horn and start running with this, making their presence felt. Alexander Cummings, I know you got your following, but you talk like you're scared. I mean, let me be
Yeah.
frank here, man, Mr. Cummings. Uh, my own
So, man,
papi,
you need to get it together. Eh?
yeah, my own papi, the
Yeah.
Baka, you gotta step up.
Yeah.
You gotta project that voice.
And,
And honestly, people are looking
yeah.
for results.
Yeah. And
People are looking
this
for
is
results. So politicians and oppositions, you don't have much time. But the hope is that you will get your acts together in the coming months into 2023.
I agree.
Moses, I think it's time to wrap up here.
Yeah.
Um,
And we want to say we want to say farewell to our many listeners and viewers out there. It was a pleasure being here. We look forward to coming back on Tuesday with another thought-provoking discussion on the future of Liberia. And let me leave you with this. I want to appeal to all Liberians, wherever you are. 2023 is a time of decision. This is about the future of Liberia. If you say you are a nationalist, you got to put Liberia first. Our people are suffering, man. They need help. They need help. And you have
okay,
to make
Moses.
that decision. Thank you.
We want to say thank you for being there with us on our 66th edition on the Issues Room here tonight. I know it was fiery, but sometimes we got to call a spade a spade. Our country is in a dark place. Our country is in lockdown. Our country is not moving anywhere. And for those of you who don't see it that way, you should be somewhere else because it is clear. We're having darkness everywhere. The airport, you know, is intermittent electricity. The city is in darkness and it's intermittent electricity. And electricity is not even spread anywhere far outside of Monrovia. But you see ministers and government officials having large generators and running their own electricity in their homes and in their fence and not even giving the neighbors who are in the dark. What a country, what a people. But let's hope that these things will change. And it can only be changed when people are serious, who want to run the country, who want to take over the country. And that's why we're calling on the oppositions to start making the case. And let them demonstrate that they're not going to even borrow from the blueprint of the current leadership. Because we've heard these stories time immemorial. One group comes and say they're going to make change, and they go right back to square one and take the country to where, take it backwards than where they met it. And this is sad for our people. So Liberian people, you need to wake up. You need to open your eyes. You can see around you. It's not even getting better. Some of us in abroad, but here in America, if it's that hard, imagine you in Liberia. I'm buying gas at the pump now, a little higher. So imagine you in Liberia buying gas at the pump way higher. But you got people who getting 900 gallons of fuel per month, doing nothing with it. Okay? Sometimes they sell it because it's free money. That money is coming from you, depriving you, the Liberian people. How much Monrovia and its circumference? How much is the radius of Monrovia and its environs? Maybe you go around the capital, it's 20 miles, and then you're giving somebody all that gasoline and fuel. So these guys are killing you guys, you the citizens, broad day, and yet you're doing nothing about it. But the conversation will continue, so just want to continue to enlighten you folks. Thank you for being here with us in the Issues Room. Moses Sandy, Volcano, Shelton will be back here on Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, with another production. It's good having all of you. Orlando Weah Krenger, thank you for coming in. Adiaha Umbo, thank you also for coming in. Continue to invite a friend, share the page. This is where we talk the talk and we walk the walk. In the Issues Room, we discuss the things that matter. Experience the experience. Thank you.